This is the Iron Trader. This is the weekend edition. Okay, today we're going to take a look here just at some stocks. Okay, first of all, we're going to do some auto stocks: Tesla, General Motors, Ford, Stellantis. Then we're going to do some tech stocks, which is Google, Apple, and Netflix. And then we're going to do FedEx and UPS. This video is for information purposes only. Not a recommendation to buy, sell the stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, first on the docket here is we have Tesla. Now, this is one of my favorite trades because it seems like it always has good volume, has good movement, okay? And that's really what you want in trading. Now, the opposite of this is, say you want to short this, is TSLS, and that's always a very, very good short also, especially like when he got into that Twitter, and it was a great short all the way down here to this 101.81. So that was always very good. So always remember that it's a two-way trade. Okay, let's just see here now what's going on. Now, Tesla's got some issues there. The EVs here, not really selling. And where he's got his big problem now is in China. He just cut production in China. And, right there they have that BYD. And they're hammering them there pretty good. When you have a slowdown, like in the production, which means you're slowing down. Another thing is too, is he's really starting to cut the prices. And when you see that, then you don't have the revenue. So we have to wait and see what is, the earnings and everything are on the next quarter, what is guidance going forward here. But if you look at the chart here, you can just see here, like on a weekly chart, see where you have a high, a lower high, a lower high, and then she's coming out of that. That's never what you want to see, okay? You always want to look at bottom left, upper right is how you want to see it. So let's just take a look here on your daily chart here, okay? So what we did is it rallied up last week, and we put in a high of 184 here, 25. Now, this bottom of this candle here is 186.72. So it never even filled this gap. So we still have a gap. So now what your gap is, you want to look at that 184.25, and then we want to look at the bottom of that candle. That's a fill, 186.72. So always put that on your back burner, that it can rise up to there, and then the next level, and then right above it here we have this 50 SMA here at 187.29. Now again, if we can get rallying all the way on up here, then we can just follow some of these candles going on up. So you have, if you look at the bottom, you got 190, 192, and then we have this really nice area going on here at 198 level. And then you have 199.75, and then you have your big retest up there at 205.28. Now, this 8 SMA here, that's also going to be a problem. That's that 184.21. So you can see when it rallied up here all the way here to that 184.25, you really went right into that 8 simple moving average here. Okay, so let's just quickly review here. These blue lines here, these are called price channels. This here is a simple moving average. Okay, so this is your 8-day, which means is you're taking an average over your 8-day period. This is a 21 simple moving average, and we have your 50-day, you have your 100-day, then you have your 200. So when I say SMA, that means simple moving average, and then these are just your price channels going on here. Okay, so I only use 3 indicators. I have used a volume and RSI, which is your relative strength index. And then we have your MACD, which shows, momentum. So when your green goes above your red, that gives you positive momentum to see how that stock's going higher. When it goes below that red, see how you have a downtrend. Okay, so now I've tried every indicator on the planet, but these seem to work really good. Same way with the price channels. They also have these clouds that are out there. They have Bollinger Bands, but I just found out the price channels are just way more accurate because they just follow the top of the candlesticks. Now, the candlesticks, what you always want to watch is the high and the low and the closing. And all those numbers are right up here, okay? So that's what you always want to watch. Now, you can see where it topped right out there, that 84.25. So you went right into that 8 SMA here, and then you came right on down here now, okay? So the next day, what we had is you had a lower high and a lower low. That's not very good, but you've held that 8 SMAs here. So on the downside, what we want to watch here now is that 1.7457, very, very key level here. Again, if that is lost, we can come to the bottom of this candle here. You're looking at 171.80. You have 170.82 going on there. Then we can follow to the bottom of the candle. You have 168.73. We have 166.30, and then we'll come down to the bottom of this candle here, which is 165.90, and then the top of this candle at 165.18. So there is a gap right here, okay, 165.90, and then the top of that candle is 165.18. So you have a gap in the fill. So that always becomes, your support level or resistance level. In this case, it's going to be support level. If that's all lost, your big retest down here is going to 160.51 here, okay? But right now, I don't like the way this sold right off here, because you went right into that 8 SMA here. And see, this is why you want to put these simple moving averages on your charts. See how it is? So you already know that when this is running up here, you want to watch all that resistance area. So you want to watch the top of that candle, which was 184.59, and then you want to watch the bottom of this candle here at that 186.72. So you gap in your fill. You always want to watch that. That's like a magnet to a fridge. But these are your key levels here, especially when you look at a weekly chart where it went right into it and pulled right back down. So we got to see how, if it holds that 8 simple moving average here, then what we want to do is we want to look to this 21-day at 177.39, and then we'll look to Friday's high at 179.57, and then we can go to this high, 181.91, and then we have your 184.25, and then we can stretch it right on out here to this 187.29 here, if we can get a back above and close above that 184.21 level. Now your RSI here is not looking too bad. Your MACD, your green is still above your red. That's looking okay here. Not doing much on your weekly chart. But overall, we just have to see, because you got a pinball action between your 8 simple moving average and your 21-day. The question is, where is it going to go? Is it going to close below that 8 estimate, come all the way down, retest this, or is it going to crack above that and try to retest this candle at that 184.25 and maybe even head to that 50 SMA at 187.29. Okay, next one to look at here is going to be General Motors. Okay, here we have General Motors. Now you can see how what we had here. You had a low of 26.30. Okay, you gapped up, went sideways, and then you have another big gap up, and then it just kind of rolled here sideways, and now she just gapped up again, and you're rolling all the way on up here. So if this stock does sell off here, you always want to rewatch these gaps. So you look at that, bottom of that is 37.40, and then we looked at the top of there at 36.61. Okay, so then what we'll do is we'll look at the bottom of this candle here. That's 31.42, and then we look to the top of that candle at 29 flat. And then we have another gap all the way down here at 27.41, and then we look to the top of that candle at 27.11. So you have a gap in the fill, another gap right there, another gap right there. That's not a good look. However, that being said, you really have a nice, good pattern going on here. Okay, so realistically, you can look at this as a left shoulder, your head, a right shoulder, and now she's breaking out really, really nicely here on this daily chart here. So as long as we hold that key 8 simple moving average here, we could rally right up. The next chart we can look at is a weekly on this, and I can tell you where she's going to go. Now, when you look at your RSI here, well, again, we're starting to get into a little bit of an overbought condition here, but you also had that also can mean strength, just like what we have going on here. Your MACD here, very, very bullish, shows good momentum, the green over red to the upside. See, just like what we had here, when that green gets above that red, look what happens. See, she rallies right on up here. So this is actually, stock is very, very bullish. So on the downside, what you really want to watch here is these key levels, which is your 8 simple moving average at 43.54. And then we have 41.47 here, okay? So that would be key. And then we have your 50-day at 39.40. Then we have your price channel going on there at 38.95. So that would be your big support levels here on the downside. But right now, you just have a really good positive here going here on the old upside. Just have to watch this key relative strengthening this, because we're starting to get into a little bit overbought their conditions. But let's take a look here now on a weekly chart. Okay, see your weekly chart here. Look how nice. See, this was a great trader. See how you're up and you're down. Okay, this is, you can just run it right on up here to that 200 SMA. Look how this 200 SMA here is really holding that whole thing together. And okay, you had a nice pattern. Then when we lost it, now you're breaking out. Okay, see how you're breaking out here? So what we want to do is say, okay, well, where are we going to go next? Well, this is 45.54. that was your high. So the next level we're going to go to is you bring this price channel right across here, which is the top of this candle. Okay, so your next target on the upside here is going to be 46.74. Okay, so this is where we have your close at 45.35. Okay, now your next candle, I say next level is going to be 40. So if it keeps on running, it's 46.74. That's the next level that you're going to go to. Okay, so then we can just keep on writing these candles all up here. Next, then after that, you have 48.30. Okay, we have 50.57. We have 52 flat, and then we'll have 53.99, and then we'll bring this channel here right across. These are key levels here, and then you're looking at 55.55 if this thing keeps it on running here. So when you see these price channels here, and you see those little notches, those are your big targets, and then the candles in between would be your smaller areas. So your next level that you want to look here on the upside is going to be 46.74. That's where it's going to go next if it keeps on running. Then we follow the candles, but then we look at the big target here. You're looking at $55.55. Okay, then what we can do is just run this right on up here. What do you got? You got 60.35. We have 63.38. Then what we want to do is you always want to look to the left of this chart here. Okay, so 63.44. Then we have 64.30. And then on top of this candle here, you're looking at 65.18. And then we have your big retest up there where this could rally all the way back to 67.21 here. Very easy. But again, just watch, take it one level at a time and bring it over. So when you see these notches, bring it over to that candle. That is going to be your big targets, and the other stuff is just intermediate. Okay, so let's just take a look here on the downside on the weekly. So you want to watch that 41.64. That is your 200 simple moving average. Below that, we have this 8 SMA at 40.81. Now you can see this 8 SMA, or you cross the 21, the 50, the 100-day. Now she's headed for the 200-day. Very, very bullish. Okay, your 21-day over your 50-day, over your 100-day. Very, very bullish pattern. Okay, so even your weekly, now you get a little bit overbought here. See how you're over the 70 level here. So you got to be just a little bit careful. But your MACD here is showing that you have good momentum right there to the upside. So any kind of sell down, watch that 200-day at 41.64 and watch this key level here, this 8 SMA at 40.81. Because look here, once you hold it, okay, you're holding it all the way on up here. So this is a very, very strong stock here. So if you're a long-termer, you could hold out because eventually you're going to retest that 67.21. But in the medium time, just take it, go right across here. These are your big levels, and then you can rally all the way up to there. Okay, the next one we're going to look at here is going to be Ford. Okay, here we have Ford. Okay, so let's just look at the downside here first. Okay, so now you can see where it broke out. Okay, so this is what we're looking for a retest here. If it comes down, is this price channel at 13.07. That's going to be very, very important. And then right below that, we have this 8 SMA here at 12.84. And then right below that, we have 12.51. And then we have your 200 SMA going on here. Where was it? Click that on at 12.23. And then we have your 50-day at 12.21. So you got really good support. But again, see how that 50-day is going to roll over? Okay. Look at there, your 8-day rolled up again over your 200-day, over your 21-day, looking very, very nice. This stock is looking very, very bullish. Now your RSI, that still has room to run up here, okay? And your MACD, your green over your red, that shows good strength going on here, okay? So when you look here on the daily chart, well, you want to look at the next level. So you look at the high, it was $13.30. So what you do is just do the same thing again. Just bring your price channel across. This is the candle that you're looking for. 13.44 is going to be next. Then we'll bring this across, okay? Then after that, you got 13.98. But what I like about this is we have a gap up here. See this candle here? This is sitting at 14.63. There's your gap. Then look to the bottom of that candle at 15.27. So gap and fill, that's going to be your nice big target area. And then you look to the bottom of that candle. A lot of times it doesn't have to get filled. It'll come right to the gap first. And then look to the bottom of that at 14.91. Okay, so you have 14.63, 14.91, gap, fill, and then your big retest up here is at 15.42. So this thing has plenty of room to run here where you could get an easy 2 points very, very easy. But just on the downside, watch that key 1307. You need to make sure you're above that. And then we have all these key levels here, 1284, 1251, 1223. Everything is right below. So this is very, very strong here on the old Ford. Okay, let's take a look here on a weekly chart. Okay, this gives you a little bit bigger view here. Okay, see where we are. Just punch up a little bit here. Okay, see, so what we have here, and then your next big target is going to be right here. Okay, so that's what you're looking for, 1542, if this keeps on running. Now again, then we'll come over to this price channel here. We're looking at this target, 1574, and then we're looking at the top of this candle at 1668. Okay, so those are your upside levels in the shorter term, okay, if it keeps right on running. Then we can look all the way here, see where you're coming all across? Look at that. You have 1825, bring this level across. You have 2105, and then you can shoot all the way up here. The 2587 is your retest. So that would give you a lot of juice to the upside where you're sitting at $13 here. You could get a nice 12 points on the stock where you could do it almost a double if you wanted to be a long-termer. See your RSI looking very, very good. Your MACD here just starting off. So this is looking very, very strong. The key is you just have to hold that 1307. Then we can just start taking these levels all the way on up here. Now, I think Ford and GM, I'm even watching these commercials like on TV, and they cut way back on all these electric commercials. Everything now is about the trucks, the heavy duty, the medium duty, all these trucks, they're SUVs, same way with GM. And I think they're backing off, and I think that's a good move. Okay, just keep in mind, I just don't see the electric here. You're just not ready for all this, and you can't keep losing all this kind of money. That was very interesting on last call on CNBC. They had one of the largest dealers around, and he said that they already lost like $100 billion here worth, all these car companies put together in these EVs here. So that's not a good, what you call a business plan. So now it looks like they're coming back to basics, okay, and they want to sell the regular vehicles. And when you go on these lots today, the lots are packed, okay? Now, there are EVs on there, like Ford here. They're just not selling these, okay? They got a good dozen of those Lightning trucks. They're trying to reduce the price. These Mach-E's, they got 16 to 20 of them on the lot now. They're just sitting there. But the rest of the stuff that is going, like the Broncos and the regular Ford trucks, and that is selling, okay? So that's what you have. And now you have a good selection. If you want to buy a new vehicle, you don't have to go to the used market. Car lots are getting packed up here now with the vehicles. That's a good thing. So if they can just keep focused on what their actual business is, not the EVs here, this stock will rise. So if you're a long-termer, this is going to eventually retest this 2587 level. Okay, let's take a look here at the old Chrysler Stellantis. Okay, here is Stellantis, basically the old Chrysler. Now you can see the same thing, okay? We had a bottom here and it just rising right on up. Now, what this did though is this is selling off here a little bit. It lost that 8 simple moving average here, okay? You can see how nicely, it held. Look at this, how it held all the way here. Look how that 8 SMA held. Look at that, nice. And then when you lost it, now we got to go down to the next level. So now we're looking here is you want to watch that key 28 level. That's going to be very, very crucial, okay? So then when we have all of this, we have some gaps. So look to the lowest candle, okay? So you're looking at 2604. There's your gap. And then look to the top of this candle here at 2563. So 2604, 2563. There's your gap and there's your fill. And then we have another gap here. So you want to look at the bottom of that candle, 2521, and then we look to the top there, you have 2439. So another gap. See, you have that all the way on up. I never like charts like that because eventually those gaps are going to get filled. But right now, what we look at here is how nice that 8-day moved all the way up, but now it's lost. So you really need to hold this 21-day at $28. If that's lost, you can look to these gaps and fill, but look to this price channel next, 2604, and then look at 2546, your 50-day. But look at this, see? All the way to red, the 100-day, the 200-day, 50-day, 21-day, everything is bottom left, upper right. Very, very nice. So if this can hold that key 21 SMA here, then we can take a shot back here at the 8 SMA at $29 and then maybe even retest that 29.51 here. Now you got to be a little careful of this one here because you can see this RSI. See, when this gets all above that 70 mark, you can ride it out for a while. That shows you got good strength, but eventually she comes right on down. That's what you got to watch. And now your green close below your red. Here, I would wait. If you own this, I would wait and see if it holds this 21-day. If it doesn't, we'll look back to this price channel and we'll look at a 50-day for another scalp going higher. Okay, let's take a look on a weekly here. Okay, here's you got your weekly chart here. Now you can see where this RSI got really, really high, way over that 70 mark, and just like what it did over here. But this shows a lot of strength when this does this, and you can see how the strength was just coming right on in. Now, this means all it is just your relative strength is very good. Now, you got a little bit overbought conditions, absolutely. But you look on your MACD here, green above your red, looking very, very good here. Now, you had a good run up here. Now, the key is going to be watching this all the way here on your weekly. You can come all the way down to $27 if it holds this whole area here, okay? So this is what you want to watch. And then you have your 21-day right below it. Because look at this 21-day here on your weekly, how nice it's been holding all the way through, okay? And so if it comes on down here and it can hold at 8, well, that can be a nice, good scalp right back up here. If it doesn't, watch that 21-day. That's going to be very, very key. And then right below it, you have 2049, your 50 SMA here. Okay, let's take a look here at some tech plays, Google. Okay, here we have Google, your daily and your weekly chart here. Okay, so now we can see where you had a good run up here all the way to 153.78. Okay, and then what we do is had another run up here, but you put in a lower high at 152.15. Okay, so that's pretty much like a double top situation, but you're holding in there pretty good as of right now. Okay, as long as you're above that 8 SMA here, you're doing good. See how that price stayed right above it, and even when it sold down, it held that 8 SMA here. So now what you want to do, let's just look at the downside first. You want to watch that 149.59. Very, very key. Again, if that's lost, you can come all the way down here. This is 147.82. And then what you also want to watch is this candle here. Okay, so this is, look at the low, 146.08. There's your gap. And then we want to look to the top of this candle right here at 143.18. Okay, so the bottom of that candle is that 146.08. There's your gap, and then there's your fill right there at 143.18. In the middle here, you have your 143.73, and then we have it 142.26. But always watch this gap in this fill. Now, again, even if it sells down, it might just go down to this gap level and then rally right back up. But there's always that fill that you always want to keep in mind on your back burner that says, wow, it could get all the way down to there too. So watch the top of that candle, and then we have your nice 50-day, your 21-day, your 100-day, looking all very, very good here. And you can come all the way down to your 200-day, and then your retest down at 130.67. Okay, so here on your upside, you want to watch this top of this price channel, 152.26. That's going to be very, very critical. If you can close above, well, your next target there is 153.78. Okay, so that was your recent high. Okay, so if it breaks above there, that's the target. That's where it's going. Now, again, if you break above this, well, then you're in blue sky territory. Okay, so you got to do Fibonacci, and then you could probably rally. Next level is going to be, obviously, is going to be like the 175 level, and then probably all the way up to 200 level. Okay, those round kind of numbers there is what it usually wants to target. But again, just watch that level, 152.26, and then that 153.70 on the upside. On the downside, watch that key 8 SMA here, and then watch the bottom of this candle, 146.08, and then the top of this candle, 143.18, and then that nice 50 SMA in the center, and that nice 21-day, and that nice 100-day on the downside. So this is actually looking here very, very strong. I don't like that double top situation kind of thing. If this happens to lose that 8-day, then she could come down here pretty good. On your weekly chart, well, it's pretty much the same thing. You can see that, but see that gap right there? See, this is what you never wanted to see here. See, there's that 146.08, and then there's that 143.59. See, you just don't like to see those gaps like that because that's always like is going to get filled kind of a situation. But this was a really nice chart because you put in a low, a higher low, a higher low, and then once you broke out of this range here, then she just zipped right on off here. Very, very nice here. Very, very good, very, very strong stock. Okay, next one we're going to look at here is going to be Apple. Okay, here we have Apple. Now, Apple's have been having their issues. Now they they filed that lawsuit against Apple because what Apple wants you to do is they want everybody to have an Apple phone. So if you want to communicate with a person that has an Apple phone, you need to have an Apple phone kind of situation, which is total bullshit. Okay, you should be able to communicate with anybody you want. Okay, so that's what the lawsuit's all about. However, this is not going to be settled here in a day or 2 days or a year or 2 years. This could drag out for years. Okay. But the problem with Apple is that they're so big that you don't really have that earnings power and everything like you have. They're trying to come up with new things, and I get all that. They have a huge following. I get all that thing. But again, the stock just isn't reflecting all that. Okay, so you have 199.62 as your high, and then you put in a lower high right here, and then it's just working itself down. So let's look at the downside here first. Okay, so the levels that we want to watch here is we want to watch Friday's low. That's 170.51. Then we'll come here. You're looking at 170.11, and then we have 169.58. And this is your big retest, 168.49. Very, very key. Very, very key. Okay. Now, if that is lost, here's your target right here, 165.67. That's the target. If this key price channel here at 168.49 is lost, this is where you're going to be going. Okay, so this lines up pretty nice here with the 100-day sitting at 165.41. Now, again, if that's all lost, you're going to come smacking all the way down here to this 200-day at 150.78. So we've got to see how this all going to shake out. But what I don't like about it is high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Ugly, ugly pattern. Doesn't say I have to buy this. This is going to go higher. Okay, now again, if this reverses and it does go higher, well, you want to watch this key S8 simple moving average, 172.97 and 173.08. That is going to be key on the upside. You can see where this candle here went right into it, pulled right back. We had an inside day on Friday, and that couldn't do nothing. So again, if you can rally up and get above that, then we can follow these candles. So then your next level, 176.61 here. Then we're going to have this candle at 177.49. And then we have a nice retest of that high at 178.67. And then what we're going to do is look to the bottom of this candle. That's 179.25. And then we can look at your 58 simple moving average at 181.28. So follow the candles up. This is going to be a tough resistance level right here, that 178.67. And then so is this here at that 179.25. That's going to be very, very tough. And then if you can get above that, there's your target, 181.28. And then we can go up to your 200-day here, possible, and then maybe even your 100-day. But again, this is going to be very, very strong. You're going to need a pretty good catalyst here to blast through this 8 and this 21-day to get this bad boy moving here, okay? So this is more of a long-term trader. If you could, boy, it'd be great if it came down and retested that and held it, or if it came down to that 50-day, that'd be a great buying opportunity just to buy it and just to hold it long here. Because then you also have that big retest up here at 199.62. Okay, let's take a look here at Netflix. Okay, here we have Netflix, your daily chart. Now, you can see here how nice. Let me put that back here a second. See how nice. You had low here of 344.73. You gapped and go all the way on up here, okay? So you're holding, okay, well, even when you lost your 8, your 21, you're still holding that 50-day all the way on up here. Then another gap and go, and now she's rallying all the way on up here. Now, it looked like it topped right out here at that 160, 634.39. But see, this is the way you want to look at this here is you already knew that eventually that was going to top out here. Because look at this RSI here. See where you have a high, okay, and then we have a higher high, higher high, higher high. That's all good, but the RSI was making high, lower high, lower high, lower high. This is negative divergence. Okay, so you knew eventually that this was going to run out of steam and it was going to come on down, and that's what it did. So now you lost that 8 SMA here at 622. You lost this 613, the 21-day. Now you're headed right basically for this 592 and possibly 582.28. So again, but look how nicely it's held that 50A. Okay, if you can come down to this, this would be probably a really good buying opportunity if it comes down to that 582.28. This is what you always want to watch here on a near-term basis. This is that 599.28. So what do we have there for a low? you had 601.59 there on Friday. So right below that is this 599.28. So that's going to be very, very critical. If that is lost, then you can come to your price channel, then you can come to your 50-day. So always watch that weekly because that's always very, very strong support and resistance. Now, on the upside, you want to watch that 21-day, 613.48, and then right above that, you have 622.09, and obviously a big retest is 634.39. Above that, you got nice blue sky going on, but you got that 21-day, you have that 8 SMA here, and then we have the breakout. So that's going to be very, very tough here. So we had a red candle and then another red candle. So you have a low, and then we have a lower low. That's never a good sign. So it would be right good to come down to that 592 or even this 582. And I think that'd be a good buying opportunity here. So if you do own this, watch this 8 SMA, 599.29, because that's going to be next. That's right under what we have for Friday's low. Okay. All right. Let's check out here a couple shipping companies. First is going to be FedEx. All right, here we have FedEx. Now, they've been moving up here pretty good here. They had good numbers, nice good gap and go, okay? So this is good and it's bad, okay, because now you have that gap up. Now, when you look at this RSI here, you're pretty much nosebleed territory. Your MACD is pretty much the same way. It's bullish, but you're kind of like getting way up there where you're going to have to come down. You got a lot of gaps, a lot of stuff going on here, okay? So on the downside, this is first of all, you always want to watch the key simple moving average, 276.87, very, very key. But on this chart here, you want to watch that candle right there, 277.55. There's your gap, and then watch the top of this candle at 265.53, okay? So right there, your low, 277.55, and then the top of that is 265.53. Okay, so your gap and your fill. You can always watch this 8 SMA. We have your 21-day, and then you have your 200 SMA here, sitting at 253.61, and then we had 250.68 at your 50-day rate below it. But again, if you can hold that height like that, then we can maybe even go higher. But that's going to be very, very key at just like this. Okay, so it gapped right on up here. It traded around here for about 4 days, and then all of a sudden, boom, down she came there. So always kind of watch that, that scenario here when you have these gaps and these fills. It's just not pretty. But we just have like this big wide open space here, so you got to be very, very careful. Okay, let's take a look here on a weekly. Okay, here we have FedEx on the weekly chart here. Okay, so this is what we got. Now, again, what do we have here for a high? You have 291.27, and then we had a lower high of last week, 290.87. So you want to take the top of that candle, 291.27, okay? So then we say, okay, well, where can go next? Well, we do the same thing as we do on all charts. We look right to the left here, okay? So we can work this right on up here. So you're looking at 298.50. You have 301.95, and then we're looking at 302.65. Then you always want to look to this candle on the left because this was that breakout candle. This is 305.66. See, as the price runs up, you run in there, you put it in a high. Then it comes down. Then when you break out of that, now that becomes resistance or support. In this case, it becomes resistance, okay? So you want to look at 305.66, okay? And then we can follow this candle. You're looking at 315.10. But this is the bad boy, is a retest of 319.90, okay? So once you can break out, if you can keep on running on this, okay, so that 291.27, that's the high, then we just follow that candle right across here, okay, and take it all the way through your next levels until, okay, you get to that 319.90, okay? So just always look to the left of the chart, follow these nice price channels going all the way across, and that is all your resistance levels. Now, on the downside here, there's that gap. It doesn't show it here because this is the weekly chart here. But again, there's that gap, and then you could come all the way down here to this 255 here level. So you have to be a little bit close, but here, a little bit. But this here is looking pretty good here. The thing I don't like about it is where you had a high here. You had a high there. Even higher high, even higher high, and then these are lower. So that's negative divergence. So always keep that in mind. Okay, let's take a look here at UPS. Okay, here we have UPS daily in a weekly chart. Now, they had a really nice high going on here, but they signed that big contract with these guys here, deliver packages. And, I don't get it. That's a lot of money to drop a package off at a door. I mean, but anyway, it didn't seem like they even negotiated it. They were just instantly, we got to sign something and get this over with here. And now I think they're going to be paying the price here. Okay. So what I don't like about this is a high, lower high, lower high. Right here is a classic double top. Okay. So let me bigger up a little bit here. Okay. So when you see this candle, you had a high of 158.91. Then we see this candle, 158.95. Okay, so there's your 158.91. There's your 158.95. Double top. Sometimes you get a lower low, but this is a classic double top. And then what happened? Boom, all the way on down here again. Okay, so I just don't like that series of all that. Again, now we're finding a bottom here. Okay, we're finding a bottom, which is always good. Okay, so you have 143.03 here. We come right, bring that right across. Okay, that's basically that level. See, 143.30. Let me just, what am I doing here? Okay, so yeah, so we take 143.03. So that's basically your first level. See right there, that comes right across. That is your first level. Next level, if that is lost here, we'll come down to the bottom of that candle, 141.35, and then we'll come down here at 138.90. Okay, so that's a downside, but that's all based on if you lose that 143.03. Now here on the upside, you can see you had a couple nice green candles, but you're going to run into some huge resistance. Okay, 150.65, that's your target. 152.30, you have all that resistance, and then you can work yourself back up there to the 158.95 and even that 200 SMA at 159.74. Again, if you can get above that, then we'll come up to the top of this candle here, 161.35, and we can come all the way up here, okay, at 163.81 here. But, you have to get through all this resistance area here first. A lot of resistance area going on. So you had a nice, it sold all the way up, had a nice double bottom, ran up here, but I just don't like that series of lower highs, and I just obviously don't like this double top situation. She sold off real hard. Now we got to see if you can get through that 152 area and that 158.95 retest, and then possibly at 159 if you can. Then we can rally all the way up here, possible retest. But right now, this looks very, very tough, okay? So same way with here. This is your weekly chart. Okay, you had a nice series of, say, a low, higher low, higher low. That's always good. You always want to see that. See, that's like here. You see a low, okay, higher low, higher low. So this might look very, very bullish. The problem is you got to get through all this resistance area right here first, and then you got to get through that 200-day before you can start rising up. So you got a lot of resistance, just like we have here, before you can actually make a difference here. So this would probably be a good trader. If you wanted to trade this, I would trade it right into that 150.65 level and then see what happens, okay? If you get back above, then you can go to the next level, 158.95, okay? But to me, this would be level. I wouldn't say I'm going to get, this is bullish. It's going right to there. No. Way a lot of resistance here before you get even close to getting to what that is. Okay, that's what I got for you today. We did the Tesla, the GM, the Ford, the Stellantis, the Google, the Apple, the Netflix, the FedEx, and the UPS. Now, I'll be back tomorrow, and tomorrow what we're going to do is we're going to do Bitcoin, we're going to do gold, silver, maybe the dollar, and I'll see what else I can throw in there. All right, thanks for watching.